Hello and welcome. It's been so long since we last saw you guys. Pat, buddy, it's the Full Force News Burst brought to you by General's Dojo's REBORN.com, reacting to the panel from Pulse Con. How are you doing, my good man?
Doing well. It's always fun to have toys to look at and things to get excited about.
Mark Bradley, indeed, full force. Good shout. That's highly articulated. Pat's dressed down for this. He just ripped it all off, just tore it all off, and was like,
I wasn't going to stay in a tie for that long.
He doesn't even do that at work, guys. Come on. Cool. Right. So we have got a brilliant reaction bit of content for you now, guys, as we're just going to talk about all the cool stuff that was revealed and all the interesting new things. All in all, before we get stuck in, Pat, I have to say, once again, the G.I. Joe brand team is definitely the most natural and the most enjoyable to watch brand team I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're really good. You can tell how genuine they are whenever they're talking about things. I enjoy having them on my screen, and I would like to see more of them.
Absolutely. Like, what I will say about this one is there wasn't like loads of unexpected stuff. There was obviously a pretty interesting crossover reveal at the end. And prior to that, we did get some like name only reveals as well that we can get into. But everything else we kind of expected. We'd actually kind of discussed this on the Intel for a lot of our patrons. And one of the things I was just expecting, because we knew Bazooka was coming in his standard gear, and I expected him to slot into that group of figures that we knew were going to have digital renders exactly as we expected. So there wasn't like a lot of like crazy stuff that really was like, I wasn't expecting that. Did you feel that way?
Well, I don't think that we can expect them to give us pipeline names and then renders and then color reveals and then FEP reveals and expect there to be much of any surprises along the way. They would have had to have not told us something in order to have a surprise. And that's happened, but it's fine whenever it doesn't, because they're showing us so much of the process as it is.
Plus, it's like, getting to see those digital renders, which we'll get to shortly as well. The fact that we got those digital renders, we got 3 new name drops as well on top of the 2 that we had yesterday. There's actually quite a lot in there when you think about it. Just because it was expected isn't necessarily their fault a lot of the time. And I think a lot, like, they probably wouldn't have done those gray model sculpt reveals at SDCC had it not been SDCC. So I think that's probably taken some of the edge off what we've eventually seen today at PulseCon.
Right. Yeah. And it isn't all G.I. Joe. We have all these other companies putting stuff out.
No, there's nothing else, Pat. There's nothing else, mate. It's just G.I. Joe and Nerf. Anyway, let's get on with... Oh, actually, it's a good point, actually, Jay. So I'll just answer this quickly. Where's the O-ring? We had a kind of conversation about this, Pat and I, on the weekly earlier today. Yes, this is the second time we've hit your screens today. And we're kind of expecting that to be pushed into next year, just for the fact that we feel like they're definitely still reevaluating that whole process. But yeah, I wasn't expecting anything O-ring, and I'm not surprised we didn't see any, honestly. Not saying that it's over, but I think they're delaying until they can get a better handle on something. Is what
I will be incredibly sad if it's over. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
It's not, Pat. Don't worry. It's not over. Cool. Okay, loads of comments coming in. Sorry, guys, we will get to as much as we can. Obviously, this is one where we have to get stuck into a lot of things. So without said and done, let's switch visuals. God, it's not long enough. Pat has given me this additional anxiety now where I have to it's not just me and the screen, it's me, Pat, and the screen that I have to jig about with off screen. So yeah, I know, and I do not give myself enough time with that little 6-second buzz. Anyway, right. So Hasbro Pulse Con 2022, day 2. It's it hasn't just finished. I just had a mission trying to get everything in visual form onto a slideshow. But we're here, guys. And I hope you guys are joining us. What we're saying, loads of comments coming in. I can't get to all of them. Sorry, guys. I will try as we go through. Now, first off, we had yesterday's Hawk and Tripwire name reveals. We've already kind of discussed this on the weekly, so we're not kind of including it now, but I thought I'd mention it, and we thought we'd just kind of make it clear that, yes, Hawk and Tripwire are coming to the classified line next year. So that's some awesome stuff to expect and to be excited for. And we kind of agreed, Pat and I, that these are probably the versions, or at least close to these styles, as we're going to get for those particular figures. We'll see how it goes. Hello, Adam Howes from Australia. So I'll shout out anyone that's just bigging up a different country. Great to have you on. Thank you. That's a good point. In 2 hours, premium members will have the opportunity to do the pre-order thing as well. So we will be obviously very mindful of that. We're not going to go over 2 hours, trust me. We could do, but we're not going to. So next up then, we had the actual brand panel, and that was Tony, Emily, Lenny, Corey. And again, like I said at the beginning, super great bands. I really like this team. They're so natural, and they've all got I don't know, they just bounce off each other really well. There's a lot of genuine kind of enjoyment with each other's company here. So I really do get a good vibe off this. And yeah, so this was great, and cool set dressing there. Pat, did you see any fun items that you wanted to see maybe appear again?
I actually had to back up to take a look at which carded Firefly that is. I think it's a Fun School one, actually, over there on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Because they have some obscure stuff, because a lot of the foreign items would have been sent to Hasbro still for approval. So they had them in the archive, and I like seeing them. I think it's interesting that they pulled out some G.I. Joe Extreme.
Yep.
It's, in the background, as it always seems to be. But I maintain that if you watch the G.I. Joe Extreme cartoon, you will be a fan.
Oh, yeah,
That
totally.
is a solid cartoon with some really fresh ideas for G.I. Joe at the time that I would like to see revisited.
Absolutely. So fresh, so clean. I love the fact that they even pointed it out as well, but the Dino Hunters set they dragged out as well, which made me excited for a future Dino Hunters classified HasLab. Come on, how awesome would that be with a T-Rex, a classified T-Rex? But could you imagine if they just made it just a bigger version of the one you got in the Dino Hunters set? How funny would that be?
That would be funny.
That would be the best ever. Anyway, enough of that. So yeah, they kicked off the show with some name-only reveals. Snow Serpents. Oh, there's an interesting one that I may or may not have let slip a few months ago back where we were talking on a weekly, and everyone's like, "Has Chris just said that Snow Serpents are coming?" And I'm like, "No, it was an accident. I didn't mean it." Yeah, there you go. Snow Serpents, guys.
I know Emily said it, and it was like, "Oh, you can't." Oh, yeah, she can say that.
She can say it, mate. She can. It's me that couldn't say it, and did back up. I thought I backed up really well last time, but anyway, I think people were aware and were waiting for Snow Serpents. But there you go, guys. I can be tripped up sometimes, so maybe in the future, try tripping me up over some things, and we'll get some accidental reveals going. But yeah, Snow Serpents and Buzzer. So we've already got Ripper and Buzzer on deck, which means Torch, Monkey Wrench, Road, Pig, etc., etc. Can't be far behind. I would expect we'll have probably the 3 main Dreadnoks by the end of 2023. Would you say?
That'd be nice. It would also be nice if the Snow Serpent is timed somewhere closer to Snow Job.
Yes, absolutely, like a snow-themed kind of scenario.
Yeah.
100%. And also around winter time would be great as well. That'd be super fun. Ed Straight Edge says Dino Hunters are coming, right? Well, they are now, in my opinion, mate. Yeah, awesome. So that was this was my favorite part, just hearing these were kind of coming, even though as I've just mentioned, I may have slipped up earlier in the months before. Also mentioned with a female Cobra Trooper. And I was kind of like in that mode where I'm trying to keep up with the show, trying to take screenshots and just throw things up on as posts on the actual page. And this was like the only one I could find that was really representative of what I wanted. Annoyingly, I couldn't find that one beautiful bit of card art they had for the do you remember that card art for the 50th for the female Cobra Trooper?
Yes.
See, that you tend to use. I fall back on that as like a, whenever we're talking about female Cobra Troopers, I use that artwork. For some reason, couldn't find it today. I couldn't find a decent version of it. And obviously, with the fact that I was like rushing to get this thing sorted, this is the one I landed on. Anyway, that's irrelevant. We're getting female Cobra Troopers. Is that something that excites you, buddy?
It's good. I think that adding them to the Cobra Troopers is a good idea. That they've been around a lot, actually, in my opinion, in the Sunbow cartoon.
Yeah.
So they're always a little bit left out because it's just easy to repaint the one Cobra Trooper. But putting this out there may actually lead to a lot more options. Like maybe we should get a Python Patrol female trooper.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. Oh, I like that, Pat. I like that. Yeah, like a female Cobra officer too, and then they could switch the names around and Pythonize them.
Oh.
I'm joking, of course. But no, definitely on that. Definitely yes to a Pythonized female Cobra Trooper, and yes to a female Cobra officer that's later Pythonized as well. Get as many figures out of that as possible.
Female Stinger Driver, why not?
Absolutely. All of the different troopers, but in female versions. E. Thompson says, what up, guys? Hello. What do you think the chances are that we will get the characters that came with vehicles are obviously too big for classified, like Cutter, Strato Viper, and so on? Well, at some point, you're probably going to be dipping into those. We're getting Copperhead. He's clearly not coming with his vehicle by the looks of things, considering that was a 5-figure wave of renders that they showed us. And I'm just kind of like working that out in my head. That's, especially with Scrap Iron being like a bigger version of, like a bit more of a deluxe by the sounds of things, it looks as though that will be the 5-figure wave. So, Copperhead you could throw in there straight away. Cutter, which I would love to see a Cutter, actually. That would be really fun with with the baseball cap and everything.
Yeah, a removable hat. And I think that for some of these, releasing the character by itself, I don't think means that they absolutely can never do a vehicle, because obviously given enough time you can update a figure, but you could also just include a redeco or something else with it. I mean, I don't really see a moccasin being something that would fund or would be a good idea, but I don't think there's a danger to just releasing the drivers.
I think some characters are stronger outside of their vehicles than others. Some are just like, that is the vehicle driver. They ain't doing anything else. Covergirl is probably stronger than her vehicle. Obviously, Copperhead as well. So like those two straight away in that wave makes a lot of sense. For these ones though, E. Thompson, Cutter, I think he's just as iconic visually as the Whale is. Oddly enough, I just see the two together. Yes, but I do think they're quite. I think Cutter's quite an iconic figure based on the fact he's got the the kind of life vest and all that kind of stuff on there too. Strato Viper's another one. Strato Viper, they've been seen in the cartoon just as troopers. Like there's that one scene where the Strato Vipers are fighting Sergeant Slaughter in Arise, Serpentor, Arise, and then the camera switches up and it's a regular Viper, and then the camera cuts away again and they're all Strato Vipers again. So yeah, I would say Strato Viper, almost the ones you just mentioned there, I think we could see them eventually. No worries. What else we got going on here? Okay. Oh, Matt, thank you very much. Hey, congrats on your appearance on Pulse Con. Did anyone catch that, by the way? Did everyone catch my my debut? Actually, it wasn't my debut. I've been on Pulse Con before, but not so prominently, which was quite nerve-wracking, I'm going to say. That was a bit of a nerve-wracker. Did you see that, Pat, by the way?
You know what? I did, only because I had actually stepped out of the room to use the bathroom, and I came back and there was a message in the group going, hey, what did I just see on my screen? I thought, did I miss something? And I rewound, and sure enough, there you were.
Oh, you nearly got away with not having to. You nearly got away with not having to put up with that. I apologize, but yes, thank you, Matt. Appreciate that, buddy. Robert H says, gonna love getting those tennis rackets with the snow serpent for some Cobra vacation displays. I love your thinking, Robert H. That is amazing. We're all going to be doing that now. Jay Straber says Emily is going to revoke your security clearance, Chris. Yeah, no, I think we'll see. I'll probably I didn't get told off at the time because I backed up. I thought I did a really good job of it, but effectively now you can see I dropped everyone right in it. We'll get to that, Ray, in a second. Good shout out to Ray Murphy. We're going to be looking at the Hiss Gunner shortly. Matt O'Brien, will you calm down? Stop giving us money. This is ridiculous. It's funny enough, Matt was the one. He told me that I should turn this feature on YouTube, and I was like, no, we'll get to it eventually, whatever. And it was just so he could give us money. It's ridiculous, Matt. It's ridiculous, and we love you for it. Thank you so much. Money can buy you love. Great Pulse Con. All of the digital renders look phenomenal, including Shipwreck's jeans. Yeah, we'll get to those next. I wish they would allow the brands to run longer. Well, I think we'll be all right with classified, to be honest. Or do you mean the brand panels? Because I don't like it when they because Emily's like, we're kind of going over, and I'm like, do you remember that one we were waiting for, Pat, that went on for like, it was a standalone one, but it went on for like an hour and 45 minutes, and it was supposed to be an hour, and we were waiting for it to finish so we could go live.
It was going on forever. They were having a good time though.
Oh, it was great, and that was one that just gave us tons.
It did, yeah,
tons of stuff. Robert H says, wonder if the female troopers will have the long silky hair Sunbow gave all of them. I wonder if there'll be like options there. Do you know what I mean? Like, because again, with the troopers, there's this kind of thing of, you want to kind of like look at Super 7, for example, the amount of different hairstyles and skin tones. So do you think that's something, Pat, that they might try for the female trooper?
Well, they've already kind of done that also with the Vipers. With the other Vipers, where they've re-released them, they've done different skin tones, and I think that you should be able to pop and swap some of those parts. So hopefully they will, and maybe it won't be until we get them across a couple of different releases that you would get something different. But yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I'm excited to see these. Yeah, Robert H, good shout, mate. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to rinse through as much as I can. Peppermint oil capsule, thank you very much. Sarge is on Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse in 4 hours. Guys, check that out after this. And then obviously after you've done all your pre-orders, Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse is the place to be. Thank you, Peppermint oil capsule. And thank you, Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, for all the support you guys give us. We really appreciate it. You guys rock. Matt, stop it. Stop. You don't have to keep giving us money every single comment. But I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. The panels just give the brands a longer time. Got you. Thank you. You didn't have to pay money to tell us that. Matt, you're an absolute star. Thank you so much. It's like how I get angry now when he gives us money. I'm like, no, stop. I'm going to have to owe him like part of my, an organ or something at this rate. Okay, next up then, guys, we got our first digital render reveal of Rock and Roll, and I've got to admit, I like this. I like this direction. I know Pat might have a different viewpoint on it, but I kind of looked at this and thought, I like it. I like what they've done there. But Pat, I totally understand, buddy, especially if it's the all green thing you're about to discuss right now.
I'm fine with it.
Oh, okay. That's me assuming things, and I apologize.
Yeah, this one seems like it's a little bit more in the old style of what we were getting early on with Classified, where it looks like a character, but it is kind of turned around a little bit. I mean, the original figure didn't have tattoos. I think that it was probably Resolute that first gave Rock and Roll some tattoos, and then that carried on actually into bench press in Rise of Cobra, and we've seen Rock and Roll with tattoos a lot since then. It fits the character. I think that I would like to see a little bit more surfer Rock and Roll in here somewhere. Yeah. But it does say Hang 10 on his helmet, so it is.
I like that. I think that's a really nice touch. I was going to say the same thing, maybe like a little bit of a looser hairstyle, in order to give him that more of like the surfer vibe. But I really like this. I feel like they've done him almost like, almost like a modern military special forces kind of looking guy. Do you know what I mean? Like a modern military special forces, especially in the hair, like the beard. And then the top he's wearing kind of looks like the ones they wear, like, is it the SEALs wear? Where it's kind of like, the kind of two-tone different colors like that. Anyway, Peppermint Oil Capsule, I've kept your comment up on screen the whole time because I love it. Ton up, 100%. Great shout. Matt Crosser says, I have the 12-inch Rock and Roll that looks like this Classified release too. I suppose that that, was it the Hall of Fame one that had a similar kind of head vibe like that, didn't it? Okay, yeah, they didn't go completely vintage, Ed. No, the only thing that kind of bugs me are the tattoos. I may take nail polish remover to a few of them, especially the back of hand tat. That's totally up to you, my man. I am quite digging the tattoos, honestly. I like the addition of a few more little things to him. And again, pretty cool accessory loadout. The machine gun with the bullet belt, pretty dope. Yeah, you excited to get this one, Pat?
It's okay. I am not. It's not the one that I find the most exciting. You
Of
know,
course, yeah.
it's nice. I actually am kind of surprised they went with like the deco that they're going to have to put on the hand to get a tattoo on there, and then to give us a second hand. So they're going to have to do that deco, you know, that tampo twice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they did that. But
Yeah,
you know, they're putting some other ideas into rock and roll. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely extra, isn't it? That they're pushing on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's rock and roll. Really nice, or ton up, as everyone's calling him now. Excuse me, in the chat, which is totally fine. Yeah, into this one, like it, like the vibe. Next up, and this was not necessarily a surprise because I knew this was coming, but it was, and this is what we kind of assumed, because the bazooka, this bazooka was supposed to come out quite a while ago. And I think when they switched up to the 5-figure waves, this bazooka was pushed, excuse me, along, and all those other figures, like, you know, the ones that we'll see later on, were combined into a 5-figure wave. So bazooka kind of got lost in the ether a little bit. So it's really nice to see that this is where he's going to end up in this kind of group of figures. Again, we've all seen bazooka. He looks great in this deco. Any thoughts on this one, Pat?
It's bazooka as I expect him to look, so not really too much to speak of.
Were you a fan of the Tiger Force version of the figure?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, that's all Pat's going to say on that. Bazooka.
Yeah, like if you want bazooka, you're getting bazooka. It's not like a big deviation from it. It's what we've talked about before with
that's a very good point.
Classified new kind of style, and this is just delivering what we would expect from bazooka, I think.
Absolutely. Next up then, Torpedo. Now this is extra. There's a lot of cool stuff here on this figure, and I am here all day long for this. How do you feel the deco looks, Pat, first of all, on the render?
Well, I think it looks really good. You know, I like the fact that Corey said that they're trying to make sure that all the accessories can fit on the figure. I think that's a great move.
Yes.
The fact that he comes with his harpoon gun. The flippers are very new looking, especially with the red on them. It gives them a bit of pop. I'm just used to those old flippers, though, myself, and the old mask and everything. So he is going to look quite different from the vintage Torpedo in my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you say, the backpack kind of almost like kind of oxygen tank and everything. The what looks like that, is that the mask is on the top of that. Do you think yeah, obviously it connects, because there you go, it's connected with the hoses, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's going to go on top of the head as well, that we see. I think this is really cool. And I'm not saying that they should do this, but at least you've got almost like a excuse me, you've got a head sculpt here that could be used for somebody like Airtight. Although I think I'd prefer them to do, excuse me, I think I'd prefer them to do something new for Airtight. But what do you think about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's some sort of exclusive or something that they need to get out, this probably could be used again. But I like the idea of every Joe having their own unique sculpt.
Lots of cool stuff here as well. Like you say, the flippers are neat. The knife, the H&K with the kind of removable magazine, and the harpoon gun. Amazing. Looks great. I'm really excited for Torpedo. I think that's going to be an absolute beauty. Robert H still wants blue bazooka. Amazing. Right. Oh, some people don't like rock and roll. Kevin Jones is one of them. Didn't like rock and roll at all. Yuck. Is it the deco? Would you prefer all green? Let us know in the comments, Kevin. Jace Traber says Torpedo makes me want an Eels version 1 more than ever. I think it's pretty safe to say that Eels are just around the corner when you see a figure like this one. Wouldn't you say that, Pat?
Well, it was the case with Snowjob. You had the special environment, and then you got the Cobra counter him. So yeah, I would think so.
Kev Jeweled 100 says that head would work great for sci-fi. That's actually another good shout. That you could have, a couple of guys with that gear on the head, or even something like somebody like Eagle from SAS Force. We're talking Palatoy. That would be really fun if they did something along those lines. Highly Articulated is curious how Naked HD feels about all these reveals. Well, you're finding out because Pat's here.
I don't see any. I expect to see Naked HD show up before.
I know they've got to now. We've called them out. Adam Howes, Torpedo is an absolute home run. Can't wait to see the figure photos when they drop them. I know that's kind of what I really liked about the pre-order stuff as well, which we'll get to shortly. Okay, cool. So next up then, what else we got going on? We've got Copperhead. Now this is actually, I tell you what, when we first saw the Grace kind of sculpt input, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that sort of looks all right. But with the deco on it now, it's like almost filled it out. Like I think there was something going on, like almost like a visually, giving off an illusion that he was a bit thinner and scrawnier. But when I see this figure now, I'm like, oh no, that's Copperhead, and he looks amazing, and lots of personality in that kind of head sculpt, even though you can only see the eyes.
Yeah, and I noticed that they added a tattoo to Copperhead as well.
Yes. Is it a tramp stamp?
On the inside of his right forearm.
Yep,
right
I see it.
What are there? I think it looks like playing cards or something like that.
That's pretty cool. The problem is I haven't. This is the thing. Whenever we do these shows, and this isn't an excuse, it is an excuse. Obviously, I don't really watch the show. I take screenshots, I post things, and then I'm on to the next thing to take screenshots of and post. So I don't really get to enjoy it or look at it or really get into it until we do this show. And then that's where I'm going, oh, look, there's a thing that I didn't notice before. But I didn't even know there was a tattoo on Copperhead. So that's even cooler. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, really I don't think that they even talked about it. It's just sort of there.
Yeah, I'm having to get close. This is how I do close-ups, guys, on a live show. This is how I look at close-ups. Anyway, awesome stuff. A few people in the comments just wondering what the price of Serpentor is going to be. Looks like he's going to be about $80, I'd imagine. 80 something maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Toy Kind of Mood is saying $80. I think he knows what he's talking about, and he's right.
Yeah, good shout. Toy Kind of Mood has also put Silence of the Copperhead Lambs. There is a bit of that going on with with the old.
He's really got the dynamic that expression going on underneath that mask too.
He's also probably doing the whole Chianti thing under his breather there as well. Okay. They just said Spencer will be $80. Yeah, cool. Awesome. This is the other thing. When I'm hyper focused on this, I just ignore everything else that's going on. Hot dog salad. I want a Worms or a new Worms, as in the Worms figure, I hope, and not just you want Worms because you don't want Worms. But yeah, that would actually be really cool as a figure, wouldn't it, Pat? Speaking of like vehicles that probably aren't going to get made, but the characters could do.
Yeah, and I'm really hungry right now, so now I want hot dogs.
I don't want salad. I want a hot dog.
A Worms would be great. That's certainly a figure that, apart from the vehicle, still looks really great. It's almost a shame that they didn't just give that one a rifle and put it in a package in the vintage era, because
totally
it would be a really hot figure.
Oh, how about Python Patrol Worms? Slaughters, Marauders, Tiger Force Worms. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, something with Worms would be good.
Just Worms. Can we just get Worms finally? So I really like this one. A few people saying, including Adam, I find it difficult to get excited about Copperhead. He kind of falls flat without a moccasin to belt around in the backyard swamp / pool. In brackets pool. Good point there, Adam. I know a few people kind of wanted Copperhead, but they wanted the water moccasin as well. I get that. But that to me does probably scream a HasLab. And is that something that they would do? I don't know. I don't know if like Pat mentioned earlier, didn't you? You said that you don't think it would fund necessarily.
No, I don't. I really don't think that would be one that everyone would go for, unless they really packed it out with some really good features and put some other characters as part of the package deal that everybody really wants. I don't think so. But, you know, in the 25th line, Copperhead in his normal deco came out without it. And then
Yeah.
the Moccasin came out with Python Patrol Copperhead, right? So
yeah, was there a direct-to-consumer Copperhead, or have I just made that up?
there was a mail-in. There was a disguised Copperhead, and then the club winner, they did the Lost Direct Consumer Wave. They did a Python Patrol Copperhead.
I think that might be what I'm thinking
That
of.
might be what you're thinking of, yeah. But I mean, it's not out of the question that the Moccasin could come out later, because that's
True.
exactly what happened before with the 25th line. So that could be what we see happen this time.
Totally. Excuse me. Got a horrible coffee thing going on, probably because my voice is going after doing 2 of these today. Next up then, Shipwreck. Now, this is kind of everything I expected it to be. Another similar kind of vibe in the bazooka style, where it is effectively Shipwreck 100%. There's no kind of crazy updates on this necessarily, but I do like the fact we've got the hair piece, so we can have, you know, just the hair rather than the hat. And again, covered in tattoos.
Yeah, he's got both of them there on his forearms, right? The anchor and the dolphin, which is interesting because I thought whenever that was in the 25th, isn't the original one a dolphin going around an anchor, or maybe a shark?
It's a shark, isn't it? I think
a shark going around an anchor. I think.
Yeah,
whichever it is, the sea creature going on one arm and the anchor on the other. Whenever originally they were just both the same tattoo. Is that what we have going on here?
I think so. I'm gonna have to. Obviously, we'll get better. We'll get a better idea of what's going on with the tattoos when they actually have the figures, and the next live show will be next week, maybe. Also, did you notice the tampos on the shoulders that he's got?
I noticed that they're there.
I don't know what they are, but yeah, I did notice those, and that's an interesting addition.
I thought that he had something like that before. I thought that was one of the things that was on the bicep before.
Could be. I'm gonna, again, like, hopefully we'll get some other images of these like in the future, and we'll get to see those in way more detail.
Yeah, he has that on his right bicep on the original figure.
Right. I love the head sculpt on this one. I think he looks really good, really vibing with it, and I love the effect they put on the jeans, the kind of wear they put on the kind of top of the trousers. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, in general, I don't like battle damage on toys.
Oh, you're going to hate one of these ones. You're going to hate one of these ones we're going to talk about then.
This looks like it's more to create the texture and the appearance of jeans. Although it's interesting that they're choosing to put him in jeans, because I don't think that blue jeans are actually what the Navy wears.
And very good in combat either, I can imagine.
Right. But I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, getting a figure that looks like he's wearing jeans, it's pretty cool. I do like the way that it looks.
Is there a tattoo?
Interesting too.
Is there a tattoo saying "I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach"? that would be great, actually, but no, I don't think there is. Yeah, Polly's really cool, and they've definitely gone the route with Polly of being a much smaller animal companion, almost effectively an accessory to kind of plug on, because it's not like you've got, you know, articulated wings and the head moves, that kind of stuff. You've literally got like a little statue, haven't you, there?
Yeah, and it would be nice if they do another Shipwreck, say a Tiger Force one, if they would do Polly in a different pose, even if her head was facing forward this time and that was it, or if it was
in flight.
Flying in flight would be what I would prefer. I don't know about the peg leg. I feel a little weird about the peg leg on Polly, but it is what it is.
I know, it's quite sad, isn't it? It's like the thought of, someone even mentioned that once. They said like the fact that Polly must have gone through some absolute crap to have not only lose a leg, but then have a blooming peg leg attached to her, the poor thing. Yeah. Jay's Traber says blue jeans are the worst to get wet.
That's true.
Maybe he's just chilling. Maybe it's just chilling in the HQ watching some TV. Shipwreck.
Or maybe I'm wrong and it's just meant to look like weathering on regular navy pants rather than actual blue jeans.
I do like
but
the fact
it looks like blue jeans.
I do like the fact it looks like jeans, though, I must admit. I'm with you on that. I think it's kind of fun, and it's a good like visual. Anyway, that's Shipwreck. Excuse me. Then Emily gave us a question to answer. Did you get this right, Pat, by the way?
Yeah.
The trivia. I would hope so. Yes, we all know it was Spartacus that didn't have the DNA involved in Serpentor. But anyway, it was a bit of fun. Anyway, then we moved on to the Hiss. Well, this was like the Hiss tank figures finally having kind of models built, which Tony had a lot to do with here. The female gunner looks really cool, I think. What are your thoughts, Pat?
Yeah, looks great. I really like the gauntlets that are on there. It looks like the sculpt has a nice flat spot on it, which could end up being just a really good piece for customizers too, to put whatever data or communications that they want on there. It looks good.
Yeah, big time. Which came with tons of weapons too, which I don't have it. I did take a picture of, didn't add it to the slideshow because we were at 40 something slides. So yeah, she comes with an amazing amount of accessories, this particular character. Also, how good does Retro Cobra Commander look?
He looks really good. You can look at this and just know that we're probably going to be getting this figure again. I did notice that it doesn't have the chrome on the faceplate, but who knows if that's still up in the air. I would think still questionable. I don't think it'll happen, but who knows?
Well, this is just a model, right. So it's very likely that they're still working the ins and outs of all that. Excuse me. So yeah, two fantastic figures for the Hiss tank, because we haven't really seen these yet. This is the first time we've seen them as figures, and my God, I think they've absolutely smashed it. And there's another good close-up as well, showing that snake wrapped around the globe accessory, showing the logo nice and clear there as well. Different angle of the female gunner as well. So yeah, awesome stuff. Really liking these. Oh, Jay Doran with the history lesson. Thank you. In the 1940s, the Navy did have jeans/dungarees. Thank you very much. Awesome. Now we know, Pat.
Yep. I'm not going to say the other half.
I was hoping you'd say something like that, which you did, and congratulations. Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, what do you want me to say? I don't know the saying because it's never used ever. No one ever uses it or says it, or any licensee has ever used it. Anyway, we also got a quick kind of a little grey model mock-up of the Tactician, which again, from what we can see, looks kind of cool. But this one, we're still waiting to do a whole fan vote for. So that's something they're really holding out on at the moment. And I think they're, my thought process about this particular panel was that they were going to probably have Ron Rudat on as a guest, and that he would maybe launch the fan vote. That didn't happen. So I've got a feeling that maybe they're going to do something else special, in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But she did say to look out for an email to all of the backers with that very soon. Okay, so that's all your Hiss stuff, your Hiss paraphernalia. Then we started to get some great shots of the figures that we saw digital renders of before that are now pre-orders. They'll be going up at 5 p.m. for premium members, that's 5 p.m. EST, and then 6 p.m. EST for regular members on Pulse. So we've got Slaughter's Marauders Barbecue. Thoughts, Pat?
I did kind of hope that we would get an individual head sculpt for Barbecue eventually. This, I think, would have been the opportunity to do that, because everybody wants version 1 bar. It's a little weird. Like, it seems like they're trying to not make the redecos cost that much, but I really kind of would have. I think it also would have made sense for the sale to just have Barbecue in the original deco be sold, and then Barbecue in Slaughter's Marauders to have that alternate head that everyone's going to want as well, to try to sell both. But I don't know. It is what it is. There's not really any surprise here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I think I know what you're saying. They're clearly kind of holding back a little bit in order to stretch that budget out a bit more.
Yeah,
but I agree. I think I also think that if you think about this was, I mean, we knew about this figure coming for a long time, And that was back in the days when the brand wasn't as strong necessarily. I wouldn't say not as strong, but not as doing as well in terms of the popularity of classified and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that, we've just had this HasLab, which has blown all sorts of records out of the water. And now we're going into a phase where you're starting to see more figures in waves, more stuff being done, more events and all that kind of stuff. I think this was probably a victim of the earlier period of time, like, maybe last year or whatever. Yeah. So I think that's probably why we're looking at a figure here that doesn't have any other extras to come with it. And I agree with you. I think, that'd have been great. People are just mentioning Indiana Jones is starting. Don't worry, I don't understand. I totally understand if you want to bounce and watch that. I get it. Anyway, barbecue. We got the John Jiang artwork, which we've actually seen before because he had this at SDCC and was signing it. I really like this artwork. I think John Jiang's work is exceptional anyway. And I think it works really well with barbecue because he always has that kind of like fiery, smoky kind of like effect on all of the stuff that he does. And it looks great. And Slaughter's Marauders deco, you can't argue. And there's the figure in reality. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Genuinely, because of it just means I feel like we're going to get more Marauders stuff. And that's something that can only be great. Yeah. And then obviously Slaughter again, hopefully. I've got half an eye on the Indiana Jones panel. I just want to see what they're going to be like. Sorry, Pat. I know you probably wanted to see that.
That's okay. I'll just rewind and watch it later.
Cools. Right then, next up we have Crimson Bat. And this is where Pat's going to cry a lot because of the immense amount of weathering and battle damage on this one.
Well, what do you there's the option to not have it battle damaged.
There's a lot of weathering on the paint, though. Can you see that?
Yeah, that is true. But I'm not sure if that's supposed to look like it's damaged entirely you mean on like the guns and the metal parts?
No, if you look at the pants, look at the top of his pants, you'll see like almost like a kind of wash over the red. I
can't really see it, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, you're probably looking at that image, aren't you? But that image kind of shows it too, actually.
I can't tell what that is. Is that not a stripe of some kind? That's battle damage?
I don't know. It might be. It could be a deco.
I thought that it was just deco on his pants.
It could be a deco hit. You can see it on the top of his shoulder as well. I personally do like this. I think it looks quite cool. And but like it's cool that you can definitely swap out. You've got a regular head, regular chest plate. It's not like he's going to have to be battle damaged technically the whole time. Right. But anyway, yeah. Coolsies. Again, kind of purposed artwork, and again, it looks really cool. I like the bat artwork. I think it's really, really striking. And like I said, the figure I mean, what else can you say? We know what the bat's like. We know what we've seen it twice already. We've seen it regular version, Python Patrol. Now we're seeing it in Crimson Bat. Are there any others I've missed out? No, that's it. I think that's it.
No, that's it.
There'll probably be more. You probably get more.
Probably. I like the fact that they're keeping the crimson color consistent too between figures.
100%, definitely. Yeah, but not much else to really talk about there. Next up, we have Falcon. This is an interesting one because I wasn't massively blown away with Falcon. No. I'm not like I don't think I'm a huge fan of the head sculpt. I think that's the main problem I have with this figure.
Yeah, it's not great. I have said many times that I think that with all the online chatter of who would you cast in such and such movie, that it would be really cool for them to reach out to some celebrities and see if somebody wants to be to be a G.I. Joe, as in playing the character, but only in toy form. Yeah. I think that if we had gotten Don Johnson as Lieutenant Falcon, that would have been a huge home run and probably would have been like the biggest topic of the convent of Pulse Con. Yeah. But just getting this one that's a very, very nondescript face, like it doesn't have a lot of character in it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do like there's aspects of the figure I do like, but yeah, I think it's just the head sculpt that kind of like takes it away from me a little bit. I'm still going to be getting this figure, but yeah, I must admit I was a little bit kind of like, oh, okay. The backpack's really cool though. I love that. The shotgun's really cool as well. That looks awesome. I think that stock might come out as well. I don't know. Does that fold over? It looks like it should.
It looks like the stock folds over. That would be looks like to me.
Brilliant.
Should fold a couple of times, I think, but I like the fact that there's a couple of shells in the stock too.
Yeah, that's really nice. So there's aspect, like I said, there's aspects. I think just the head sculpt runs it off for me. I'm going to say as well, I'm not massively blown away by the art on this one. Like I do like how the art is completely different styles and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do like that. I'm not sure about this one necessarily. I might have to see this one in hand or in a full shot before I give it more judgment.
This one really looks like you could tell the right side of it is meant to be on the side of the package, and then the main picture of the figure should be smaller down below with like that other stuff on the top. It looks like it was designed for an open package. I think since they're going with the closed packages, you know, I had grown to accept the multiple art styles. Like I didn't like it at first. There are a few of them that I just really did not like at all.
Yeah.
But now I think it's really important that it just looks unified. I am not crazy about all of the different styles. Even when I walk into the store, you know, we've talked about the closed packaging before, so I shouldn't drone on about it, but it's fine, but not for me.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm not necessarily in the same boat on that. But this particular artwork, I was kind of like, okay, we'll see. I'll give it time. I'll see if I grow to love it. But yeah, it wasn't one that really kind of like grabbed me like some of the other ones we've had. Some of the other ones have been absolutely astonishing. Okay, and then obviously here's the figure in real life. Now they were saying that it was coming across dark on screen, and it certainly does look like it's coming across dark. But I would totally, I'm sure it actually looks way more like that than it does that. I think that was the lighting 100%. But yeah, again, like the head sculpt is not. I'm not vibing with that head sculpt for Falcon. I'm sorry. The rest of it is fine, like totally acceptable. But the head.
Oh, but look, you can kind of see the stock is folded.
Oh, yeah, it's folded. I'm an idiot. Folded twice. You're right. It folds at the little bit on the back, folds, and the thing folds. Okay, brilliant. That's great. That's just for that gun. It's gone up in my estimation 100%. But yeah, okay. I feel bad. But
I like that you made that comparison real quick, though, showing the other picture and then this one, because that really drives home the difference in the color that they were talking about.
Pow, pow. Yeah, it's not that color, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, maybe they accidentally pulled out Night Force Falcon for the panel. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Tom McLeod awaits the Sonic Fighters repaint. I'm with you, mate, on that one, 100%.
You know, that is interesting because they haven't really deviated too much from the likeness of a character. They've changed the head sculpts, obviously, like with Roadblock, but so far, Classified has kept to the character looking the same.
Yeah,
I would actually be okay if they changed Falcon whenever they do a Night Force or a Sonic one.
Not the first time, Pat, is it, that a Falcon figure has come out and we've been like, hey, and then it's been changed.
One was also.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not. This isn't the same. This is certainly not the same level, I don't think, as that particular.
No, not even close. Yeah.
That was one of the worst figures in the 25th line, maybe.
The head was very small. Yeah,
very small head.
It was
terrible.
Maybe it would be more in place with the earlier 25th, but whenever it came out, it was especially felt like going backwards a little bit.
Agreed. Anyway, I'm not going to bag on it anymore. I do want this figure, but I'm just a little bit disappointed at that head sculpt, honestly. Joe Cam says the packaging reflects more special operations there, going with the Green Beret theme, I think. No, totally understand totally understand the theme, Joe, and I'm cool with that. It's just I don't think it really punches through. Anyway, that's that. That's Falcon. Next up, Outback. Not much to say about this one, Pat, other than it's awesome because it's Outback. He looks great in these colors. You may disagree.
No, I think he looks good. I like the fact that like Lenny said, they changed the color of his arm hair to match the top of his head. I think that maybe Outback, when he's just out there too long, the color, the dye in his hair runs out and he has to go back to the city. Like this is him running away from just getting his hair done.
He's effectively Zartan. He just has color-changing hair as opposed to color-changing skin. This is him going out for a regular night, this one. I love the survival T-shirt. red hair's back. Just looks great, and I'm really excited to get this one in the collection. Artwork is rejigged from the original. I like aspects of this artwork, but I don't know. I was kind of expecting. I was kind of wanted something like more like when you look at the artwork for the original, like the card, the Hector Garrido, I think it was, wasn't it? Did Outback? Absolutely mind-blowing artwork, and I kind of wanted something that represented that a bit more.
Yeah, me too. It's, I don't know, it's a little weird to just take some of that. We can't just take that same old art and put it on the shelves over and over and over again.
Sure.
But at the same time, this is going to be all pretty much this, and the G.I. Joe logo is all people are going to see on the shelves. So is this going to say, hey, is this going to actually represent what is in that box?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is a good point, though, isn't it? Because it's not just us knowing everything about this, buying this stuff. It is people that might just be going through the aisles and saying, but like that this might be eye catching. This might be one of those things where people go, oh, what's this? Right, and check it out. Just because we're not vibing with it is another thing to it's easy for us to kind of say this stuff sometimes without really knowing how other people are going to react to it. So yeah, I agree with you to an extent though. Like, is this going to pull in those people or not? I don't know.
Right.
Agree on that one. Phil says Indiana Jones looks great for the record. Yeah, they all look good, these figures.
I'll have to catch it later.
Sorry, Pat. We're just rubbing it in a bit more. And they are 6-inch. Yes, Phil. Thank you. Outback is a home run, and there he is as a figure. And just
probably are looking a little darker there too.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Actually, now I think about it, I think all the figures they've shown in this style,
everything in the thing is darker. Yeah.
Serpentor had that red look on. I'm just kidding. That was a call out to articulated points. The Is Serpentor Red episode. Basically, this Outback, I can't wait for. It looks amazing, brilliant. Also, my favorite figure in the line so far, Tiger Force Outback. So, yeah, loving it.
I still don't have one.
Rubbing that one in as well, aren't I? Sorry, mate.
I had it for like 8 months or something.
It's only I mean, what, you only pre-ordered from 16 different places, I imagine, as well. Right, next up then, I think this is a beauty. Sorry, Covergirl, absolutely outstanding. Love the deco, love the updates. What are you thinking, buddy?
Absolutely. This is the one out of this wave that I'm now looking forward to the most. This one, Covergirl and Shipwreck, for me are the two, but more Covergirl, because I've actually thought about getting a shirt with just every G.I. Joe figure that I owned as a child right on the front. Just like their profile, just to make it clear which ones I had, because it was like maybe 30 figures, 30, 40 maybe. I don't know. It was the first few years I had, and Covergirl was one of them. So it's, she's one of my childhood characters. So I love this one.
She's brilliant. And she just looks freaking awesome. I love the jacket. I love the deco. I love the tan on the pants. I love the fact that her boots are like the brown, but then you got those kind of like green shin guards. Yep. The gloves, like the fingerless gloves, are awesome. The shotgun's pretty banging. The blimmin' wrench is cool.
Comes out of the pouch. That is outstanding.
It is amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is the artwork. They've gone super animated on this one, haven't they? It's like very anime.
Here's the thing for me. This is not ugly artwork. This is nice. I love this style.
Agreed.
It should not be on the box, in my opinion, because people in the store it's going to really misrepresent what is in that box. Turn away some people that would want the figure, and there are going to be other people that are going to buy this box, open the package, and be like, "This is not what is on the cover." I don't think it's a good idea.
I agree with that. I think the artwork is sensational. I think it's really fun, and it's something you'd see on like a variant comic cover or something like that. But yeah, I know what you mean though. As far as the figure goes, you wonder, how that kind of like ties in with everything.
I'm going to be like, where is the cute factor, and where is the tank? Like, this doesn't look like it actually belongs in the box to me.
Maybe it's foreshadowing. Hopefully we'll be getting a Wolverine at some point. But anyway, yeah, this is the figure. As you can see, I think someone was saying orange pants earlier. I think that's the lighting there, and that's the lighting there. It's probably going to be, like you say, a bit closer to that tan. It's probably somewhere in the middle, I would say. Probably
Maybe.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, because they didn't say that it would be, but so far everything's been a bit darker, so I don't know.
Yeah. I just think she looks fantastic though. And there's that little on the left thigh, on her left thigh, she's got that kind of like strap, which is that's where the tablet slots in, and she's obviously holding the tablet as well, which is really cool. But anyway, yeah, love that. Really excited for Covergirl. I think she's brilliant. And then there's another shot of Covergirl. I think I took two just because I wanted to get like a few angles. I was actually trying to get the inside of the tablet just to get a good shot of the tablet, but I failed. So sue me. But anyway, great figure. Really excited. And what are we up to now? Nearly at 4 o'clock. Only an hour and 12 minutes to go before you can, as premium members, order these figures. And here was a great shot of all of that wave basically fighting a bunch of bats. And I thought this was quite fun and just well done. And like, I love Outback. He's kind of like on top of that bat. Like, it's just so they have so much fun putting these things together.
Yeah, I really like how much they do to balance these figures, because I really don't think that figure is supported at all. It's most definitely balanced on top of that bat.
Big time. 77T John says, how soon before we get a blonde Covergirl? Probably not very long, 77T John. I'd imagine they would do another Covergirl at some point and definitely give her the blonde hair. I think that's definitely a possibility.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, big time. Robert H. I said when these were first revealed, and I'll say it again, Covergirl is the best of the set. Can't wait to have that tripwire to go with her because I see them as a team. Just need her Wolverine. That would be cool, man. I like that shout, Robert H. Very cool. Troy Smith says, I wish they would do photos on the front of the box and art on the sides and back. That actual image that you're seeing there, Troy, is actually the front and the side folded out on the new packaging images. I'll just go show you an example of that. Not that one. Which one was it? It was this
Falcon,
one.
You can really tell.
So yeah, this shows
the
you
right of the warning is the side of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got the kind of main bit there, and then just to the side, that would be the side thing. The other ones, I imagine, will just be. I mean, that one is going to have to be repurposed slightly. This is probably why we don't see it at the moment, Troy.
Yeah.
Because this will have to be repurposed into a main image and a side image. As I'm surprised Covergirls isn't already in that style, because I imagine they would have known they were doing that at the time. Maybe not. But yeah, they're probably going to have to repurpose a lot of that artwork. Anyway, that was that. Then the brand team brought out Serpentor. Now, I know you're not a super massive fan of this at the moment, Pat, from what we discussed over SDCC. Any change of heart towards the figure and vehicle?
No, not at all. I really don't like the head sculpt on this. That said, I think I'm probably going to... I will call it getting in line rather than pre-ordering it. I'm going to get in line for mine. I will check out with one today, but I'm still not entirely sold on it. I really am not.
That is a hilarious description of what we actually have to go through, though. The artwork's pretty dope, though, I've got to admit. And I actually really like the thought that, well, Lenny mentioned, he thinks it's the first time they've ever seen artwork of someone cauterizing their wound. How dope is that?
Right, that's really cool. The artwork's excellent. I love everything in there.
Yeah, it's beauty, isn't it? And that's, do you know what's really funny? That shot at the bottom where you see Serpentor leading the troops out and they're all flying out of the Terradrome, that reminds me of the scene, I think in the last episode of Arise, Serpentor Arise, where they literally fly out to attack Washington, D.C. And that is like basically what you see on the Sunbow episode, all flying out of the Terradrome in that angle and that direction. So yeah, I really like that. It's really, really beautiful. They've really kind of found some nice little kind of moments in Serpentor's history there. You've obviously got the Washington Monument, where he's sitting on the lap of Abraham Lincoln. You've got the Lincoln Monument, sorry. You've got you got it punching Cobra Commander shortly after he just put his clothes on, after he was made, or that could be any time really. He was punching Cobra Commander quite a lot. And then
he does that in Rise, Serpentor Arise, I think, too.
Yeah, he does that, doesn't he? Right as he gets created, and they put some clothes on him and he just slaps him against a wall. Yeah, totally. Phil says, if you don't want your Serpentor, I'll take it off your hands. Well, you can talk to Pat about that, Phil. No worries. You have the screen grab. What screen grab? What are we talking about? Let us know.
Probably the screen grab of him being hit, maybe. Or
oh, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Coolsies. Well, or maybe the screen of that description that I was talking about, that thing at the bottom of the screen. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have a look, see what you're talking about, because I've got a feeling you've actually 100% messaged me, and no, you haven't. You might have messaged Pat. Anyway, moving on. We also had the physical item, and again, you can see there that the colors are muted. So I've got a real sneaking suspicion that the lighting has a lot to do with some of these colors, definitely. But anyway, I'm really excited for this. I'm not going to lie. The vehicle's flying out. Cool, awesome. Thank you, Phil. And then this was a fun little addition of all the team as their selfie series fighting a load of bats. I just loved this, and thought that was a nice little touch. And I'm gonna get my selfie series done later today. See if I can get.
I did mine in between. I did mine today, so
ordered it. Can't wait.
Yeah, I really recommend going outside in daylight to get your selfie series figure picture, because it made a huge difference for me. Last night I was in a very well lit interior room with the big fluorescent 4-foot fluorescence, and took my picture, and my eyes just were not showing up because of shadows. Go outside, get the picture, there's fewer shadows, and my eyes were able to show up on the figure without me having to, do like I was doing last night, holding them open. So certainly outside is better.
That's a great shout. I might try that myself then in that case, although it's raining here, so that would be a bit of a bummer. This was the shot that Phil was sending us. There you go, look.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go back to that Serpentor artwork so you can see what I was talking about, as they're all flowing out of the Terradrome. There you see on the bottom of the artwork, very similar kind of vibes. Love it. Thank you for that, Phil. Much appreciated, sir. Phil's getting shout outs on this. Isn't even a shout out episode. Bugger off. Stop getting shout outs. Yeah, so I love the selfie series image. That was really fun. Now, next up was a bit of a surprise. And that was that Nerf. This was funny because I'm sitting there. They come back after, I think we had Sergeant Slaughter interview, link in the description, and this Larry HAMA interview, again, link in the description. And as they came back from one of them, all of a sudden it said Nerf G.I. Joe in the background. And I'm kind of like, oh, cool. We're going to get a laser rifle from Sunbow? Are we going to get weapons that we've seen in the classified series so far? Not quite. I'm not 100% sure about this one either, Pat, but what are your thoughts on the G.I. 40?
Well, I think that they did some of this with other brands before they actually moved forward with doing fully sculpted stuff. I know that there's some Deadpool Nerf stuff that has just kind of been applied to some things. They went with the dart gun. I'm actually really a big fan of the Nerf Rival stuff, but this is a good dart gun. It looks like it's one of the ones with a flywheel, so the darts are actually it's going to function well. It's not just capitalizing on the G.I. Joe logo. It actually is a decent blaster from what I understand. Though it's weird to see the Rise of Cobra logo on there again.
Yeah, you got it's a lot of logos on there, to be honest.
It is. Yeah.
It's 3 separate logos on one side. And of course, and an explosion. Got to get the explosion on there. They even said that. I can't believe the amount of deco you guys got on that. And I'm not surprised. I'm very surprised myself that they did. But then you flip it round, and it's got Cobra, lots of Cobra logo paraphernalia all over it as well. So interesting. It's a nice, fun little 40th anniversary nod. I like that, a little crossover thing, cute. And I hope you're right in a sense that this is the beginning of what can then be new G.I. Joe related Nerf things, iconic blasters, like the Sunbow rifle. I mean, I've wanted a Sunbow rifle for I don't know how long. Flint's pistol, when I say Flint's pistol, the Sunbow pistol that Flint uses quite often. All of those things, that's kind of what I want to see Nerf do. Do you know what I mean? I kind of want to see Nerf do those things, basically.
Yeah, me too. I think that if it was the Snowdrop rifle, I would definitely be pre-ordering one right away. It would be one of the first things that I would want to get. And Nerf stuff is really cool. The Nerf brand, that team has put out some amazing,
I love
amazing
Nerf
stuff.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not belittling Nerf in any way, shape, or form. It's an excellent like Nerf blaster that we're looking at right there. The thing's awesome. The thing is, like, for me, it was like I was kind of hoping. You know how straight away you go somewhere, don't you?
Yeah,
Someone says,
yeah.
"Oh, Nerf G.I. Joe crossover." Well, this is going to be freaking awesome. And it was like, okay, so it's just this kind of thing at the moment.
It's on their mind though, because it came in the other set. That's
Oh yeah,
the Flint blaster came with the O-ring figures.
brilliant. So yeah, I mean, maybe. Well, that's the thing as well. Someone just mentioned, I think it was Robert H. He says, "I've heard Nerf guns that are based on props don't work well. So nice to get a good blaster. Love bringing back the Rock logo, my favorite logo." Robert H., you have got a good point there. I think when they're designing a Nerf blaster, they're not. There's aspects that have to be done, and those aspects tend to become a visual, aesthetic, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So trying to force a good blaster into something that already exists isn't necessarily going to work.
Well, he's absolutely right. I mean, because there will be, we'll probably see some reviews of this, but you can go back and see reviews of whichever Nerf blaster this already is that exists. But yeah, some of the Star Wars ones, I think there's a Stormtrooper one that was pretty good, but it was a Nerf rival one, and it's not the best of the Nerf rival ones. So you're right. This will be a good one that if this is your introduction to Nerf because of G.I. Joe, that it's going to be a lot of fun. But to be honest, I really just want the feeling of having that snow job rifle in my hand, which is what a lot of those licensed things are. It's like kind of a crappy Nerf thing, but a really good feeling of having a full-size licensed item.
Well, for example, not long ago, they released a Alien Space Marines Nerf crossover blaster. And like that thing is amazing. And like I was kind of thinking, that's what was on my mind. So to get something that's effectively just a decoed, previously already released rifle is kind of like...
What the Mandalorian thing that they released. They released his rifle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Troy Smith said, how about a Nerf Snow Serpent face mask? Got to protect the face. That would be kind of cool as well. Now that we know the Snow Serpents are coming.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Now that I can stop telling everyone by accident. Matt Crosser says, I wish they could have made a Nerf gun like any of the original G.I. Joe guns instead of a Nerf gun with G.I. Joe stickers on it. Or maybe go into the depths of all of the Nerf guns they used for classified figures already and utilize one of those. I don't think this one was used, was it, Pat?
No, I don't think so. The one that I really remember that stays at the top of my head is the large one that Beachhead came with, but that was a disc shooter. And they don't use the disc shooters very often anymore at all.
Also, the long sniper rifle, I think that the Cobra Trooper had, or
the pistols the Cobra Trooper had were
Baroness had some pistols.
And honestly, if they had done the pistols that the Cobra Trooper came with, they could have done a Cobra one and a G.I. Joe one rather than doing this opposite sides of the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either, honestly.
Yeah.
The Gung Ho one, the kind of like grenade launcher type one as well, that would have worked.
Yeah, I don't remember quite which one that is, but
it's the one with the big round barrel.
Okay.
Slots in, like kind of top heavy kind of looking thing. Again, that would have been kind of cool. But yeah, I get it. Not again, like I said, a nice little touch for the 40th, but I'd have preferred something a little bit more cooler on this one. Now, there's packaging they showed as well, which is kind of both two-sided. I couldn't get a decent close-up of the G.I. Joe side, but you can more or less work it out what's going on there. And then you flip it round and you've got the Cobra side as well. I think you've got Duke and Cobra Commander on either side of the box as well. But that's pretty much that. Then, there's also this as well. It's going to come with a special comic cover for issue 300 of a Real American Hero with someone pointing that Nerf blaster. Who's holding it? I can't tell.
There's several Nerf blasters as well as.
They've got level. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're flying foam. Messing up saying it. There's foam going everywhere. I'll just say that.
Yes. I like how they've got eye protection on as well, like Duke has anyway.
Dart right in the bottom there too. Like there's a bunch of Nerf darts flying.
It looks like they're on a tank. It looks like they're on the Nerf Terror Scout as a tank, which is amazing, by the way. I love that as a maneuver.
Oh, maybe that is the case.
I think it is, That's
well. It looks like the darts though in the bottom of the page are coming at them because it has the front of the dart. It's pointing toward the Joes.
Yeah. Interesting vibe going on there. But anyway, that is it. We've covered everything, Pat. We did it in 1 hour and 10. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all.
Not bad. Yeah.
We're just going to quickly switch visuals. So hold on to your pants. Did it in time. Lovely stuff. I always feel like super accomplished when I get there just in time. Right then, guys, I hope you've enjoyed Pat and I droning on all day pretty much, but giving you a little bit of our reactions from the reveals today. Lots of cool stuff, lots of amazing stuff to kind of get stuck into. A few little things that I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to point it out again, but Falcon's head sculpt, not a fan of it. Not a fan of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that they could change that up if they release Falcon again. And I would love Don Johnson. Yeah,
let's get Don Johnson in there. Again, the Nerf thing is fun. It's cute as well. So like, I'm all for that kind of stuff. And I do want at some point, I want them to kind of expand that a little bit and get into some G.I. Joe guns and blasters, because that would be so much fun. Anyway, we should probably call it a day now, Pat, because people wanted to get over and watch the rest of Pulse Con. Apologies for those that have been trying to watch this and watch Indiana Jones and that kind of stuff. I hope you didn't miss too much. We've had an absolute blast. Pat, thank you for joining me, mate. Really appreciate it, buddy.
It's always fun. Thanks again.
I will see you again next week for the weekly, episode 101. Can you believe that? Good. My goodness. That's Pulse Con, all done and dusted, guys. Thank you so much. As always, at this point, we like to thank everybody, all the listeners, the viewers, all of you patrons, all of that stuff. We really appreciate everything you guys do. We've had a blast doing this weekend. It's been a lot of work, but now we can go and enjoy it. After 3, you know what to do. Everyone in the comments as well. 1, 2, 3.
Full force.
I bet they're so sick of us now.
That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.